Hey now, ladies and gentlemen. Hey now. I say, hey now and, hey now. Welcome to hour number 3 of the Line Talk 99.5. Glad you are here with us today as we have a lot of things going on. CENTCOM saying strikes hitting Iranian command centers and missiles and drone sites. We're getting new footage out of Iran where we have launched some new strikes against Iran as promised. Donald Trump has made it clear that there is no more effing around. We're in the find out stage. That's where we're at. Because Iran just a day or two ago launched a attempted surprise attack on U.S. bases in the Middle East, and within minutes they were able to shoot those missiles down. But he's not dealing with it anymore. We're done. We're done. I believe he said we are going to beat the effing ish out of them. I think it was his verbiage. So that's gonna be interesting how that plays out. The reason I bring it up is because we just recently got footage from those attacks that were launched by us, and just keep on blowing them up, baby, blowing them up. They're saying that it's entering a new phase. This conflict. But again, this is something that's got to be done. I understand that people have short memories and they just look at things on a surface level, but this country's been through a lot. We've dealt with a lot of conflicts in the past. We have fought in wars. Some we shouldn't have been in, but this is one of those things where literally, if Trump wasn't to do it, who was going to do it? Previous presidents made it clear they didn't want to address the situation. And so it was a ticking time bomb. And if the orange man didn't take action, things would look very different within the next year or two. So it's going to be all right. It's going to be A-okay. I do want to hop back to where we were, though, with the media and how they participated in this absolute disgusting campaign of pushing vaccines on you and shaming you for not doing what the government and what the science tells you to do. What they did is unforgivable. And the way they blamed the unvaccinated people was maybe the most disgusting of all, because they treated you like subhuman. They thought that you should be charged for not taking the vaccine. Your health care premium should go up. You should be taxed. You should be separated from society. Even Jimmy Kimmel suggested hospitals not take unvaccinated people and just let them die. Little did he know, or maybe he did, that the people that were dying were the ones that got vaccinated. Listen to how they acted throughout 2021 and how they treated people like us.
You are the unvaccinated. You are the problem. It is the unvaccinated who are the problem, period, end of story.
The only people that you can blame, this isn't shaming, this is the truth. Maybe they should be shamed, are the unvaccinated.
It's time to start blaming the unvaccinated folks, not the regular folks.
Anyone you came into contact with will blame you, as will the rest of us who have done the right thing by getting vaccinated.
Because frankly, we know that we can't trust the unvaccinated.
I think it's time to get our moral house in order, Anderson. It's the unvaccinated who are the threat.
All of us vaccinated folks are going to start wearing masks to protect the unvaccinated folks. It's called a Christian value.
You're basically punishing the vaccinated for the sins of the unvaccinated.
People are not behaving honorably. The unvaccinated are basically saying, well, it's open season for me. I can do whatever I want as well.
The unvaccinated are basically beating their breasts and running around the country saying, we don't care, we're living free, and so forth.
We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin.
The unvaccinated, a group that includes children and people acting like children. And the rest of us are starting to get pissed off.
The vaccinated feel the unvaccinated are making me upset or angry.
This is not about freedom or personal choice.
Well, my freedom is being kind of disturbed here. No. Screw your freedom.
The other day, Howard Stern weighed in with a much different approach. Take a look.
When are we going to stop putting up with the idiots in this country and just say, it's mandatory to get vaccinated? Their freedom.
You're treading on our freedom and you're making other people sick, and really you're killing other people.
The anti-vaxxers, they seem to have a thing for death and home remedies.
The anti-maskers turned anti-vaxxers are not just putting their own lives at risk. If that was the issue, we could just say that we can watch them compete to win place or show in the Darwin Awards.
We have to start doing things for the greater good of society and not for idiots who think that they can do their own research.
And don't get me started on the lunatics who won't take any of the COVID vaccines.
Life is too short to be an ass. Life is way too short to be ignorant of the promise of something that is helping people worldwide.
Maybe you're doing it because you're disconnected or disorganized. Maybe you have some sympathetic psychological reasons. But maybe you're just being antisocial.
Oh, you can't shame them. You can't call them stupid. You can't call them silly. Yes, they are.
Those who are not vaccinated will end up paying the price.
The unvaccinated should be taxed. They should pay more for health care.
We need to start looking at the choice to remain unvaccinated the same as we look at driving while intoxicated.
Wow. Drinking and driving.
Sick stuff, man.
And you heard the usual suspects. You heard the Don Lemons. You heard, CNN, MSNBC, Joe Biden. You heard all those people. But you also heard people like Neil Cavuto from Fox News. Because even people on Fox News bought this garbage. You heard Kay Ivey, Governor Kay Ivey, saying we've got a pandemic of the unvaccinated. Now, let me go get a drink because it's noon. If it were up to me, I'd round up every single one of these people and throw them in Gitmo and hold quick trials because this is insane. And Donald Trump, in my view, has not done many things the wrong way. Most of what he does is the right thing, even when it doesn't seem like the right thing in the beginning. But Operation Warp Speed, where it was well-intentioned and his concern was getting the country back open, it was a tremendous failure. And I wish he wouldn't even bring it up, but he still occasionally does. It was a failure in the sense of it harmed millions of people. Millions of people lost someone they loved or was permanently harmed by this crap. And we're supposed to just shrug it off and say, it's fine. Fauci can go up there and plead the fifth and just skate away scot-free. He got rich. He's got it made. He was caught. New York Post put out some pictures. They caught him walking in the park in D.C. after his Senate hearing. And he was talking with his wife while they were walking, and he was yammering about Bernie Moreno dropping the F-bomb and how unprofessional that was. It was like, what's unprofessional is what you did to millions and millions of people. That's what's unprofessional. The lies that spread so far, even the trivial ones that may seem trivial but are vitally important in understanding how to respond to something such as this. They acted like we don't know anything about it. It's brand new. It's a novel virus, when in reality, they knew what it was. They knew what it was capable of because they made it in a lab. You hear me? It wasn't something, and this goes back to why they had to tell you that it was from a bat in a cave at a wet market. Like some Chinese guy caught a bat and was like, I'm going to go sell this at the wet market. And then some guy was like, man, I really like a bat sandwich. And then boom, COVID. They had to get you to believe that because they didn't need you digging in and find out, we've been doing gain-of-function research and we actually made this virus. Because that would look really bad. That would look super bad. And it would threaten all of the different biolabs we have all over the place, including in war-torn Ukraine. Wouldn't want that to get out there. Even one of the best moments, I mean, there's so many COVID videos out there, but one of the best is Jon Stewart, who at this time, he was right about something for like the second time in his life. He was on Stephen Colbert's show, and he was talking about, this was the early days of COVID, and he's like, where did COVID come from? And he's like, well, there is a coronavirus lab in Wuhan, China, where this outbreak started. So maybe it's that instead of what they're telling us, which is a wet market. And of course, Stephen Colbert's like toeing the line. He's like, oh, well, Fauci says this. Maybe it's blah, 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 blah. And it's just, it was the beginning of where level-headed people used common sense and logic, and everybody else towed the Pfizer line, towed the Fauci line, and the split happened at this exact moment.
It's coffee. I wouldn't do that to you. I wouldn't do that to you. So what do you mean by that? Do you mean like perhaps there's a chance that this was created in a lab? There's an investigation.
A chance?
Well, but
oh my
if there was
God.
evidence, I'd love to hear it.
There's a novel respiratory coronavirus overtaking Wuhan, China. What do? Oh, you know who we could ask? The Wuhan novel respiratory coronavirus lab. The disease is the same name as the lab. That's just a little too weird, don't you think? And then they ask the scientists, they're like, how did this, so wait a minute, you work at the Wuhan respiratory coronavirus lab. How did this happen? And they're like, a pangolin kissed a turtle. And you're like, no, the name of your lab. If you look at the name, let me see your business card. Show me your business card. Oh, I work at the coronavirus lab in Wuhan. Oh, because there's a coronavirus loose in Wuhan. How did that happen? Maybe a bat flew into the cloaca of a turkey and then it sneezed into my chili, and now we all have coronavirus. Like, come on.
Okay, wait a second.
What about this? Listen to this.
Wait a second.
All right.
John.
Oh, my God. There's been an outbreak of chocolatey goodness near Hershey, Pennsylvania. What do you think happened? Like, oh, I don't know. Maybe a steam shovel mated with a cocoa bean. Or it's the chocolate factory. Maybe that's it.
That could be. That could be. That could
By
be.
the way, I gave them all tuberculosis.
Yes. That could very well be, and Anthony Fauci and Francis Collins and NIH have said, like, it should definitely be investigated.
Don't stop with the logic and people and things. The name of the disease.
Wait a second.
The building.
Wait a second. But it could be possible. You could be right. It could be possible that they have the lab in Wuhan to study the novel coronavirus diseases because In Wuhan, there are a lot of novel coronavirus diseases because of the bat population
Sure, no,
there.
I understand.
It's like the saying,
it's
like,
a
wait a
local
second.
specialty, and it's the only place to find bats. You won't find bats
No, but it's
anywhere
like
else.
saying,
oh,
why?
wait, Austin, Texas has thousands of them that fly out of a cave every night. Every night at dusk. Is there a coronavirus, an Austin coronavirus? No, it doesn't seem to be an Austin coronavirus. The only coronavirus we have is in Wuhan.
Yes.
Where they have a lab called, what's the lab called again, Stephen?
The Wuhan Novel Coronavirus Lab.
I believe that's the case.
And Stephen Colbert's like,
You could hear him pushing back, man.
Yeah.
He was
like,
getting scared.
Maybe it was in the wild. Maybe it wasn't from the lab. And so the lab leak theory was out there very early on and immediately got pushed back on. Not because Stephen Colbert was in the know or he understood how NIH worked or what Fauci's funding was going to. It was just because that's what he was told to do. And it was all part of the larger cover-up that they crammed down your throat. And if you dare speak about it, guess what? You'd be heard from no more on the interwebs. Can't let you say that stuff out in the public square. And now that a lot of this information is out and the media is forced to reckon with the truth, they have a couple options. They can either avoid it or they can address it. It took Jake Tapper, 2 or 3 days to address Fauci's diary, although he didn't mention the part where he and Fauci and Jake Tapper's wife were dining together and going to each other's homes. He didn't bring that up. But on Morning Joe Scarborough is now moving the goalpost, and this is a famous media tactic. They move the goalpost in order to cope with what the truth is. So remember, Fauci never made the decision to close schools or businesses. This is what he said. Media repeated it. Now, Joe Scarborough is moving the goalpost and saying that, it's a shame that Fauci had to, close schools, but Republicans are attacking Fauci for this, completely ignoring the fact that he himself was promoting this idea that Fauci had nothing to do with it.
I think it would have been great for Americans to actually hear why Anthony Fauci made the decisions he made, like, for instance, on schools. Because in the last great pandemic in America in 1919, it was young people who were disproportionately killed by the virus. You've seen all of those pictures of our troops coming back from World War II, lying in warehouses, basically dying. News reports from 1919 that the super spreaders with that virus were schools. That would have been a great conversation to have. A great conversation. Say, okay, so that was your initial assumption. Didn't you have a responsibility 2, 3, 4 months in to maybe reassess it?
1919. It happened in 1919, so it was the right decision to close down schools and set every child in America back for years and completely destroy the education system. Just a little media moving of the goalpost. Something we see on a regular basis. Bubba Rumble, what's up?
Hey to the now.
Hey now.
Man, I can't wait to get my autographed Jay Bizzle underwears.
Yeah.
They're on the way, baby.
Okay, they ain't going to be tighty-whities, are they?
No way, man. I'm all about the color. I like black and silver, black and blue.
Do you wear, is that what you wear, though? Not tighty-whities. Take out the whitey part, but that traditional underwear, is that what you wear?
What, me?
Yeah.
I wear all kinds.
But do you wear the tidy whitey style?
No.
I bet you do.
No, I don't.
I bet you do. No. Pull your pants down. I've
got some European Yes Wells I'm wearing right now.
I can picture you in that style of underwear.
No way, man.
It's not a good picture. I don't want to picture it, but
back when Bizzle was a young man, everybody wore tidy whities. It was cool.
Well, this young man didn't. This young man didn't wear nothing. That's right. I was free balling.
He was a free balling 5-year-old.
There you go.
When your alter ego is Dr. Dingling, you can't really contain everything. Because, 1 in 3, statistically.
Okay, let's get down to business here. Gosh, I could talk about underwear all day, but we got a country to save again. So, here we are, me and my fellow conspiracy theorists that were shouting from the rooftops against the weight and the trillions of dollars spent by the mainstream media prostitutes to call conspiracy theories a liar. But when it comes to that virus and them toxic injections and all the mask protocols and everything, I told her so.
Mm-hmm. You nailed it.
Well, and here's another chance for the people that mocked all the redneck conspiracy theorists and kept adhering to the words of that Richard Mad Cow dude and the cat lady queen Nicole Wallace and all them losers. You know what I mean? It's like maybe take a step back and reflect, and the next time, because something like sadly about it, the deep state, the Mockingbird media, all that. Now they're embarrassed. So now they're going to have to double down and hit us with something else probably. So when they do, just remember that they lied about the whole dang thing, and maybe listen to the conspiracy theorists, or at least consider their opinion next time.
Yeah, it wouldn't kill you to at least hear them out and see what they have to say about it, because you'd be shocked by the amount of common sense that a conspiracy theorist holds.
Well, absolutely. And, it's like I'm not trying to heap any praise upon myself, but, like I was talking a little bit about yesterday, it's like I would strongly encourage people, like if you worked for a company that treated you unfairly and harshly through all this, consider like striving to become self-employed and independent on yourself so people can't make you do things that are wrong next time just so you can feed yourself. And, to each their own on that. But I just felt like very vindicated in my choice of pursuing a life of self-employment years ago for various reasons, and it paid off during the pandemic too. And there's an old saying going around, Fleckis likes to call it become unpinnable, and another version of that is become ungovernable. And if they don't have clout over you, if they don't have a way to influence you and make your life miserable like they wanted to, then there's not much they can do to you.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's that's the thing. And we've talked about before the idea of self-employment. It is more, what's the word I'm looking for? Pervasive, is that the right word? It's more pervasive now than it ever has been. Like, it's easier to be self-employed. And the thing about it is that the government doesn't promote this idea of freedom, whether it's employment freedom or even religious freedom or whatever, all the different types of freedom. The government hasn't traditionally promoted that. They've promoted the opposite, which is, we'll take care of you, don't worry about it. And it's pretty disgusting. Keep your eyes open. Bubba Rumble, thank you, buddy.
Hey now.
Hey now. Yeah, man. They want you to be slaves to the machine. That's been the goal all along. A lot of underwear talk on the text line now.
Oh, boy.
Joe Daddy says, my daddy promoted boxers. He said, shorts at an early age, telling me, son, if you've got a big dog, you need a big yard.
Ah. Well, I mean, that makes sense. That's why I didn't wear any.
Chris says the Mapleville Mel's lady said, Bird, you was a commando man.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, it's and I think that's why I've been so fertile and virile over the years.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
But you're not anymore.
No, I've been snipped.
Okay. Just make sure
I had
all
to
the
slow that
ladies
down.
know.
Had to slow that down.
There's not going to be any little baby birds out there.
Nah, no American Eagles out there.
Trump's speaking right now. He's talking about getting illegal migrants, illegal truckers, migrant truckers off the road that, as we've seen, causing deadly crashes. And he's talking about, I don't know the details of this, but expanding CDLs to veterans. And I don't know if this is a government program that they're going to be implementing that is going to make it easier for veterans to acquire a CDL or what. But let's he's live at the White House now. Let's dip into that for a moment.
Words followed by Secretary Collins, Nathan, and a great veteran truck driver, Ricky Washington. And I'll just stand here and watch. Thank you very much. Sean, go ahead.
Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy.
Thank you, Mr. President. And
President Trump making his announcement.
So we won't even deal with that. So I guess again, I don't know. His comments: radical left wants more jobs for illegals, but we want to make it easy for vets to become truckers. It's not a bad idea. I mean, we have a big thing when it comes to illegal immigration. The argument that some people make on both sides of the argument has been what massive deportation is going to do to the labor force. And it is going to be affected, and it has been affected in many ways. And Trump has tried to work with, in particular, like farmers and stuff like that to make sure they experience as little disruption as possible. But this is another one. Depending on how many illegals are out there driving trucks, you're going to have a need for truckers out there. And you know, we've also talked about it every time, say, a school shooting happens, like a high-profile school shooting, we always talk about, what about veterans playing the role of security guards at these schools? You know, veterans that maybe can't do a labor-intensive job because of injuries that they've incurred or things like that. There's a lot of solutions that I believe lie within the community of veterans in this country that will not only benefit the country, but benefit them as well, and give them a sense of purpose, give them, you know, something to do. And, you know, if in fact that is something that they want to do or something that they, you know, need in their life, need some extra income, whatever, you know, may not, as a veteran, driving a truck may not be for you, but if Trump is stepping in, and again, I don't know the details of this, so I don't know how expansive or how they're making it easier, but seems like a win-win, right? Seems like a good thing to me. 205-545-9950, 545-9950. Let me just lay it out like this, and I'll be done with Fauci. Why isn't Fauci on trial for fraud, for mass murder, for crimes against humanity? And more importantly, why was Dr. Fauci pardoned by Democrats? This is a question that some people feel like they could easily answer, but it's more than what seems to be on the surface. Now, this was possibly the biggest conspiracy in world history, but it wasn't intended to turn into mass murder. To understand at the beginning, Fauci and China and the CCP and the deep state and the Democrat Party, all of this is connected. The purposeful and planned COVID pandemic, first and foremost, was all about stealing the 2020 election. That's the real crime here. That's the foundation of these crimes against humanity. The millions of dead, injured, and disabled in America and around the world are just a side effect of this scheme and scam. The point wasn't to murder millions of people. It was to destroy Donald Trump's economy in the first term, cause crisis and chaos, and scare everyone with lockdowns, with arrest, with mask and social distancing, which opened the door for mail-in ballots, ballot harvesting, ballot drop boxes with no voter ID in order to defeat Donald Trump and steal the presidency. The key piece of evidence here, though, is the pardon itself. Why did Biden, assuming that he knew what was going on, and his boss, the real president, Obama, pardon a doctor? I understand why they pardoned a whole bunch of crooked Democrat politicians. I understand why they pardoned Hunter Biden. That's called politics. That's business as usual. But why pardon a doctor? Why give him a blanket pardon even though he was not charged with a single crime at that point? Even if Dr. Fauci did fund COVID, even if he is the father of COVID, even if we didn't need lockdowns or masks or social distancing or untested deadly vaccines, even if the economy was ruined and millions of Americans lost their jobs, even if millions of Americans died from a vaccine that was promoted as safe and effective. So what? Why were Democrats so desperate to pardon him? What's this got to do with them? And the answer is everything. Why would Biden or Obama care? That's not their problem. They could pin it all on Fauci and let him take the fall. This wasn't politics. This was healthcare related and medical malpractice. It had nothing to do with the Democrat Party, right? So why pardon Fauci? Because it had everything to do with the Democrat Party and the stolen 2020 election. What if this wasn't malpractice by a lone wolf medical quack? What if it was politics all along? What if it was a conspiracy involving Dr. Fauci working in concert with China, with the CCP, with the deep state, and the Democrat Party leadership to destroy Trump, scare the nation into compliance, and steal the presidency? See, the thing is, Anthony Fauci knows where all the bodies are buried. He can place Democrats at the scene of the crime. I'm guessing no one planned for millions of people to die. I'm going to just go ahead and give them the benefit of the doubt that they planned to make hundreds of billions of dollars off COVID, defeat Trump, steal the 2020, and then once in control of the White House, make hundreds of billions of more dollars doling out government contracts. But along the way, millions of people died from COVID, and millions more died from the vaccine gone wrong. It all spiraled out of control, hence the desperate cover-up and mass censorship. Fauci is a key to it all. If he spills his guts, everybody hangs. Therefore, Democrats granted him the blanket pardon in order to protect the biggest election conspiracy in world history, which spiraled out of control into mass murder. Sure, this is about Dr. Fauci's litany of medical crimes. He funded and literally invented the COVID pandemic that killed millions. He shut down the nation with a lockdown that was never necessary. He mandated masks, even though he knew masks did nothing. He invented and mandated social distancing out of thin air, even though it had zero purpose. He demonized the one drug that worked effectively and cheaply versus COVID, ivermectin. Millions died because of this fraud alone. People beat COVID within 48 hours of taking ivermectin. It was known. It was proven. People didn't have to miss work. People didn't have to miss whatever. They were just bada bing, bada boom, ivermectin, and I'm done. But instead of promoting that as an extremely affordable and safe and proven way to beat this virus, Fauci demonized ivermectin as a drug for horses, pigs, and cows to keep anyone from trying it, and forced pharmacies to refuse doctors' prescriptions while Americans were sick and every hour mattered. By blocking the use of ivermectin, Fauci made himself and his friends and Big Pharma hundreds of billions of dollars with the COVID vaccine because it was granted emergency use authorization. This also allowed Fauci to mandate remdesivir as the official drug to treat COVID in hospitals, even though it killed thousands of patients. Remdesivir is so deadly that nurses across America nicknamed it "Run, Death is Near." Fauci also demanded schools be shut down, as we know. Stalling children's educations, even though studies showed not one child in all of America died from COVID unless they had pre-existing conditions or childhood cancer. And we now know from Fauci's own diaries that he got a serious blood clot in his lung after getting the COVID vaccine. Yet he covered up his life-threatening illness because blood clots were a side effect of the vaccine, and we couldn't let anybody know. The crimes go on, so do the questions. Why isn't Fauci on trial for his life? If he's found guilty, this guy deserves the death penalty for fraud, mass murder, and crimes against humanity. That would be the case for everybody, right? Why was Fauci pardoned? Why were the Senate Democrats so desperate to protect Fauci at yesterday's Senate hearing? Why did he take the fifth on every question? What does Fauci know that poses such a threat to Democrats? Yes, Fauci received a pardon, but if it was an autopin, can it be revoked? Can a blanket pardon be legal when no crime is yet to be charged? Even if the pardon is legal, Fauci can still be indicted and prosecuted on a state level by Republican attorney generals. Let's hope that happens. But at the end of the day, the moral of the story is that this goes back to a much larger picture. As I stated yesterday, this all traces back to 2020, and everybody in that circle is involved in the scam. Bubba says, I injected myself with bleach and ate horse dewormer paste like Trump told me and didn't get the coof. Thanks, Orange Man. Orange Man Rad. That's good. That's good. Here's the thing. Just to put a bow on this, millions died because of Fauci's funding of COVID. Millions more died because of the untested vaccine mandated under Fauci and Biden. So Fauci is guilty of mass murder and crimes against humanity on a scale that only certain members of history could compare. But I'm betting that's not the main reason for this Democrat cover-up. The real crime is they're so afraid of is the stolen 2020 election. It's all tied together. Fauci is the key to this, and he knows where all the bodies are buried. He can bring the whole Democrat Party and deep state down. The right questions weren't asked yesterday at the Senate hearing. It's all about the pardon and the stolen 2020 election. Connect the dots. Now, did that mean you'd get an answer out of Fauci? Absolutely not. But as everybody is watching that hearing, it was your time as a U.S. Senator to ask these questions, and you yourself give the answer. Most of these senators, most of the questions that they ask, they already know the answer to them. So ask the question and answer it yourself. That'd have been fine with me. Noto Roofing bringing you this part of the show. NOTOroofing.com. NOTOroofing.com. Those are my guys, roofing guys. Absolutely love these dudes. They do a fantastic job. I've told you about the work they do in my house and my friends and my family and many of you out there in the audience as well. Y'all have gotten work done by them. They're going to give you a free roof inspection and a free roof tune-up. You can't beat that, man. It's free, and there's no obligation. There's no strings attached. They're just going to do that. They're going to say, this is what you got going on. Maybe you got nothing going on. Maybe you got some big stuff going on. Either way, they'll say, here it is. This is what we found. And if you'd like us to fix this problem, if you'd like us to do whatever it is we need to do, we'll do it. If not, if you need time to think about it, that's fine too. You know our number. Reach out to us. It's what I love about these guys. There's too many businesses out there that are just so pushy and just try to get you to spend money with them, and I just don't like it. It's bad. It's bad business, in my opinion. Noto doesn't do that. They're going to take care of you, especially when you tell them you're part of the Hey Now Nation. They got you, bro. 205-848-2299. That's 205-848-2299 and online, NOTOroofing.com. NOTOroofing.com. I was watching a clip of let me actually play this real quick. I was watching a clip of TMZ, Harvey Levin, and he was giving his thoughts of the Fauci hearing yesterday after it went down, and this is what Harvey Levin said.
Anthony Fauci, over a period of decades, has been an amazing public servant. In the 80s, I had many friends who died of AIDS, a horrible, painful death. And I had friends who lived because of Anthony Fauci, because he was willing to look at experimental drugs in a different way than they had looked at them before.
So you hear it. They treated Fauci so bad, which is ironic when, if you recall, if you go back to when it announced Charlie Kirk had died from the assassination, this is what it sounded like in the TMZ studios.
Janet, go to have somebody look at the Fox. Trump just posted that Charlie Kirk is dead.
Okay, so you heard the cheers in the background once they got word that Charlie Kirk had died. They say, "Oh, they were looking at something else. They were watching a police chase." But that's how much Harvey Levin's work.